Today's video we're going to look about what happens when plastering gets stressful. Now I've got the main room we're working in today. It's a brand new job, lots of angles, lots of areas where this job could possibly go wrong. And the first thing we're looking at is preparation. We've got to make sure that all the areas that are filled in are filled in. We mix up some British gypsum bonding, which is an undercoat plaster. And what we're going to do is fill and make sure that any gaps in the walls, any gaps between the angles are filled nicely. It's the first thing we need to do to make sure that we're going to avoid a stressful experience in plastering. Now, what we've got here, we're about to mix up for the main batch of plastering. That's when we're going to talk about the 5 reasons plastering gets stressful. Now, the first reason is a bad mix. A bad mix in plastering is going to set you up for failure. And now in this video, we're going to talk about the best ways to avoid stressful experiences. We're going to talk about the best ways to get better results in plastering, and we're also going to look at ways where we can not only improve but make sure we're going to avoid big stressful situations. Shit. Okay, so they were the 5 reasons plastering can get stressful. And what we're going to do for the rest of this video is look at ways where we can improve the experience overall and try and make sure that it's not going to be stressful, and we're going to show you the best ways around avoiding the main crucial parts of it. Now, the number one thing is to make sure you've got good tools. Good tools is going to make the job a lot easier. If good trowel, the right margin trowels, and not only that, the correct tools to make a job faster. What I've got here is a Raffina X skim. It's basically a spatula. You can use speed skim, it don't matter which one you use. But what I will say is that when you've just applied your first coat of plaster, you want to be flattening it straight away. And what this is going to do is, 1, get your walls flat, but 2, do it at a good, decent speed. Now at the beginning of this video, you see what happens when you have a bad mix. The main thing you want to be looking out for is to make sure that your plastering mix is bang on. This is the start of the process in plastering. This is what's going to dictate your results onwards. So if you've got a bad start of a bad mix, you know you're not gonna do well. So make sure you're measuring out the water, make sure you're mixing it thoroughly, and all your buckets are really clean. Now, tip number 2: drink lots of tea. Tea, water, hydration, anything that's going to get you through the day. Just not beer, not at this time, it's a bit early, but for now you're good to go. So we've got the decent mix, we've got the tea. Now what we want to do is make sure that we're applying our second coat of plaster or first coat of plaster as flat as possible. Now what this means is, when we're applying the plaster, we've got to make sure that we're getting it at a decent flatness, and that way if it does turn, if the plastering does start to harden up unexpectedly, if the weather catches it and it just catches you off guard, at least you know that your plaster is going to be at a relatively flat stance. Now what I'm doing is, even though we're speeding up to avoid any stress in plastering, I make sure that I'm getting my plaster flat. I don't just throw it on and just hope that it flattens itself. What I'm doing here with my second coat of plaster is really taking my time to make sure that I'm getting it flat. And now back to the mix. It's slightly wet mix, but don't play with it. If you're struggling to get it flat and it means you're taking forever to put it on, just avoid it, skip it. But what I would do is really take your time to pick up the skills and making sure that you're getting the plaster flat at the beginning. And I'll show you a video at the end of this one to help you improve your general skills in plastering. But what I will say is keeping your tools clean is a big thing. I'm going to go into that in a minute. But once you've applied your second coat, clean your tools and immediately flatten with the speed skim again. Now, what we want to do is get on top of the game. We don't want to fall behind. We don't want to get ourselves caught out in plastering. So what I like to do is, as soon as I've applied the second coat, clean up and immediately jump on the speed skim. Don't matter what time it's at, don't matter what time in the process we're at, I like to speed skim the plaster as soon as possible. And this means we're just going to get it flat from the beginning. A lot of people then probably have a cigarette, have a little chat. I don't like that. I want to stay on top and I want to be proactive to make sure that I don't fall behind. So as soon as that second coat of plaster is applied, I'm immediately flattening it. I'm cleaning my tools, and then straight after that I'm jumping straight on the trowel. What we're doing here is we're just avoiding any risk and any damage happening in the future. So by being proactive and make sure that you're jumping on it early, you're just preventing any problems from arising. Now obviously the plaster is still quite playable, we've still got a bit of moisture in there and we've still got a lot of work, but we're getting on it early. We've given it an initial flatten and we're already jumping on a trowel. That means we're just really ahead of the curve, and this is what's going to get us out of the woods, and it's going to make plastering a lot less stressful. I find that a lot of the problems come in plastering from ourselves. We make the main problems. We don't prepare our beads properly, we don't prepare the mix properly, we wait around after applying the finish. So what we want to do is applying the plaster, getting it fairly flat and flattening it immediately. And like I said, this is just going to make sure that we are ahead. So what we're doing now is taking time to fill in any gaps in the plaster. So if there's any bits, any lumps, any gaps, so we really want to take a time at this point to be filling it in. Again, do make sure you're filling in the plaster early and constantly keeping your trowel clean. A clean trowel, clean tools is just going to make the job 10 times easier. And even though you've got to take time out to do it, for the sake of 20 seconds, keeping your trowel clean in between the sets is really going to make a difference. Now, another thing about being proactive, focusing on details early. So obviously, make sure your edges are nice and clean. Again, we're going to go into that properly in a minute. But what we want to be doing is really focusing on the internal angles and just making sure that everything is filled. Now what I'm doing is not only troweling horizontally, we're also got to be troweling vertically to make sure that we've got no gaps. So again, I've got a lot of excess plaster on my margin trowel. I'm just taking off the fat, filling in the gaps, and now even though this takes time, because it's early on in the period, early on in plastering, early stages, it's still quite wet like I was saying before, which means we're not fighting the plaster. This is the big thing. You'll fall behind in plastering when you slow down. I think the initial 4 stages of plastering, you've got to be on it, don't take any breaks, and then after that it's going to be a lot easier because the plaster's still wet. Because the plaster's still wet, it's still got a lot of play, and we can manipulate the plaster rather than be manipulated by it and its setting times. So whilst it's at this stage, whilst it's wet, whilst it's got a lot of play, we can really focus on internal angles, really focusing on filling any of the gaps, and really focus on getting ahead. Now, once you're past this stage, and if you do all this whilst the plaster is still fairly wet, then you won't have any troubles, because look, our plaster's looking fairly flat now. Yeah, there's a bit of work, but everything's filled in, the internal angles are done, and now we can really take a time to clean up. Now this is what I do at this stage, is get some fresh clean water, and I like to clean my buckets properly, clean my trowels properly, and make sure that everything is tucked up out of the way. So whatever I'm not using now, I'm moving out of my way. So I'm not using the speed skims anymore, I'm not using my hawks, I'm gonna put that to one side. So it's that point that we can start cleaning up properly and taking the time to make sure that everything is good. And it's also at this point you want to be prioritising your edges. Now as the plaster's starting to take up a little bit, now is a good time to start filling your edges, scraping back any excess plaster that's on your remaining walls, and now is a good time to be using your midget trowel. If you're not very good at wet angles, and what I was doing before was all freehand. Midget trowel at this point is crucial, and using a midget trowel is just also going to minimise the stress of your internal angles. It'll just make your life so much easier. Going back to using the right tools, this is a Ragni corner trowel, and it's in my eyes the best corner trowel on the market, but just making sure that you've got the right tools to make your job easier is really going to accelerate the speed you're doing the job, and also the stress. If you've got the right tools and using them at the right times, then your stress levels are going to really come down and you're going to have a nicer experience. Here's a big fact: plastering is only stressful when you fall behind. If you're on top of everything, if you're fully prepared, if you've got a good mix, if you make sure you're troweling the plaster when it's wet and not hard, then it's all just going to fall into place and everything's going to be 10 times easier. It's if you wait behind and you're doing that when the plaster's starting to go hard, that's when you're starting to fight the plaster, pressure's going to hit your joints, you're going to get tired and it's going to get worse. So what we're doing now is just flicking a bit of water at the bottoms. I scraped any excess plaster from the skirting board line before, and what I was doing then is just brushing the bottoms, make sure nice and clean, and then troweling up from there. And make sure I'm troweling both ways on a wall, not just horizontally. We also want to be troweling vertically as well. And it's from this point that we're going to be looking pretty good. Like I said, you just really want to push them first 5 stages in plastering. You want to rush through them, you don't want to be waiting around. Like I said, you can have a cup of tea, but just make sure you down it. And now we've got the time, we can come back and really start cleaning our door liners, make sure the angles are clean. And this is when we get to the housekeeping side of plastering. So we're not doing that early on. We want to be doing that later on in the stages when we're ahead of the game. And a crazy thing I like to do is listen to metal music. When I get stressed, or if plastering gets stressful at all, I listen to some hard pumping music, and that helps me get through the tough times. So if you are at a point where it is starting to get stressful, find a bit of music that's going to help you out. In my eyes, for some weird reason, I love listening to metal, and that is what I like to listen to the most when I get really stressed. So even though it's madness, it makes no sense to me, but that's what I like to do. And now we're coming to the penultimate stage. We just need a wet trowel, and what we've got is a nice easy experience now, because we took all them. Even though we had a tough beginning, I didn't have the area prepped, I had a bad mix. We've always got a second mix of plaster, and it's always good to make sure that you're ahead. So we're going to wrap this video up now. That is the 5 reasons plastering can be stressful. I've got another mix on the go here. I'm going to finish this room off, but if you want to see 10 plastering skills that is crucial to make sure that you're going to be a better plasterer, that is going to make sure you're going to get better results, and click this video on the left. I'm going to show you some of the best tricks I've learned in plastering, which not only make you a better plasterer, but also make you a faster plasterer, which means it'll allow you to get ahead of the game and keep up. So thanks for watching, Blaine Gray here. If you like this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and click that video on the left for more. Thanks for watching, cheers.